This is a video that I shot with my friend over the summer, and I've been kind of nervous to upload this because it's so much different from my regular content, but it's a story that I wanted to tell, and I hope that you guys enjoy it.
It's really squeaky too.
That's okay, just sit still.
You make it sound so easy.
Okay.
All right, I'm good. So with BMW, I didn't actually like BMW in the beginning, which is kind of funny to say. I was big into all-wheel drive turbo, so naturally I had a couple WRX. And it was through a business trip that I drove a BMW for the first time, and I didn't know anything about it. Everybody always told me my whole life that they were expensive, you couldn't fix them by yourself, the dealership had to do everything, and there were so many cons that it wasn't even worth driving one. So I accidentally drove one on a business trip one time, and through that I ended up really liking the car to the point where I came home and bought one, and then another, and then a couple more, and then here we are. And I felt with the channel especially that I started with BMW, I named it Kies Motorsports, so if I ever wanted to get into different brands that we could. But when I started this thing, I didn't know it was going to be a business. I just did it to try to help people. So yeah, I kind of got into a weird way because like I said, it was a rental car, and then I ended up driving it 800 miles in 2 days, fell in love with the stupid thing, and then this happened. So when I first started the channel, it was just me at the time. And the whole reason I started the channel is because I bought an F30, I had an F30 328i, and there were no videos online on how to do anything. And every time I searched for something, Justin would pop up. And it was Justin changing his oil, Justin changing spark plugs, Justin doing this, Justin doing this. And I was like, man, I wish there was somebody that would do this for the F30. And in the meantime, I'll try to like hack together some videos. So I went that route, and then as I would do things, like I put backup cameras in the cars, I did oil changes, whatever, I had a lot of people that would reach out to me and say, hey, how much to do this to my car? Or where do I get the part? And then I formed a partnership with Tech at the time, and they didn't, I don't even think they do now, but they didn't have an affiliate program. So like in the first year, our business was basically putting in backup cameras. And that was a direct response to us making videos to just try to help people. We weren't trying to start a company, we weren't trying to make money, we weren't trying to do anything. And through that, you know, just from people saying like, hey, where do I get this, where do I do this, or can you do it on my car? We just started saying yes. So naturally we would go to install the cameras, and we were a dealer, and then we just stuck with one thing and we got really good at it, and by the end of a 12-month period, we were their biggest dealer in the world. And then from there, we just kept expanding out. So for me, we kind of accidentally started the business, and then we just kept adding and adding and adding.
Hey, this is Brian. Thanks for watching Kies Motorsports. Today, we have a huge announcement. I quit.
So as far as me making the jump to going to Kies full time, it took me 3.5 years to actually be able to get to a point where I could make the jump. And I had to definitely take some sacrifices along the way. It got to a point where I was just naturally making videos and just trying to help people online just do the same thing. I wasn't looking to start a business, I wasn't trying to do any of that. But then my demand just kept going higher and higher, and I kept having all these appointments that people wanted to book. And I was working full-time in healthcare, selling software to hospitals that helped them automate their medical record billing process, which sounds really exciting. But the problem was, I got to a point where I couldn't do both, and I saw a lot of potential, and I just felt this tugging inside. It was like, you need to be doing this full time. And I didn't know if it was gonna work, but I just felt like God had this thing inside of me, and it was just saying like, just do it, like just trust me. And I was like, all right, we got this. So I got to a point in 2019 where I wanted to make the jump, but I knew that based on the year before, I was gonna have to take a $90,000 pay cut. And I have 3 kids, a wife, and a mortgage, and I was like, all right, like, let's go. Like, God, like, if this is what you want to do, like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go all in. And it was from there, I just left, and I remember like talking to like my kids' schools and whatnot, and just talking to other people like, hey, if this doesn't work out, like, I need something. So I had a huge fire under me to make this thing work, and I couldn't fail, because if I failed, that meant that the few people that were starting to work for us, that meant that they didn't have opportunities. That meant that we could lose our house. That couldn't happen. So I knew some things that worked as far as marketing is concerned and whatnot. and we just kind of doubled down. And actually, one of the biggest things that helped me with that is that's when Zach joined me, because Zach joined me like right when I went full time.
3, 2, 1, action.
All right, so as you just saw, we just got done dynoing Justin's car, and the first run was 300 horsepower. So I remember talking to Zach and I was like, so what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm a videographer, but I don't have any work. And I was like, oh, that's strangely specific to like my exact need at this moment. And then I gave him one video and he did it better than me and faster than me. And I was like, all right, here's the rest. So like he took on the video load, and then shortly after that, I quit my job, and I didn't know how I was gonna pay Zach or myself. And then we just hunkered down and we just strived to make the best quality that we could. And then through there, you know, we obviously had some other people in the mix and whatnot. And we just kept going at it. And then from there, it just kept to grow and grow and grow. Cliff was very helpful with the installation side of the business. And at that time, Chris Marzano was very helpful too, helping us run it. Helping us run operations and whatnot. And it was amazing because the original shop was like this big. So it's really funny that like even the studio right now is a quarter of the or it's 4 times the size of our original shop, where we had product and everything. And every time we would go to film a video, we would literally have to take all of the product, all of the spoilers and everything, and just move them, and then film a video and then move everything back. It was horrible, but we just had to do what we had to do. And we worked a lot of hours and we just did everything we could to just be the best that we could. And then that first year that we were full time, we ended up tripling the volume that we did the year before. So that was pretty crazy in itself. And then from there, we just, you know, kept doing what we were doing and just really strive for the highest quality that we could, kept adding new companies, and then kept adding employees to just help everybody grow. So as far as what I enjoy the most, I enjoy filming, because it's really fun. We get to light stuff on fire, we get to drive fast cars, we get to go racing, we get to do like really cool installs. And I actually really like doing stuff that we haven't done before, because I feel like once you start taking a little bit more of a risk, there's more of a reward, and it's like a satisfaction knowing that you did something. I know like one of the most daunting tasks we ever did was the turbo on the 335, because it's all-wheel drive and everyone's like, you have to drop the subframe and all this other stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So, and it's also very expensive, and we were gonna have to use every dollar that we had to be able to do it. But by taking risks and whatnot, we got better and better and better, and then you learn other skills on different cars, and then your knowledge grows, and then we're just able to share just anything that we know. And then our goal, you know, we wanna be a resource to other people. You know, no cost, like literally YouTube is absolutely free, where hopefully we can help people work on their cars. As far as how I split my time, I work a lot. So Zach and I typically film 2 to 3 days a week, unless we have the Kies Auto Show coming, at which point we film for like 10 days straight, like 12 to 16-hour days. But yeah, I'm typically here 2 to 3 days a week filming, and then over at the warehouse the rest of the week. So as far as being first to market is concerned, and this is kind of our motto on videos, like we don't have, if there's a new product, we don't have to be the first ones to do a video. Like when GTS lights popped out, you know, for the F30s and whatnot, we didn't need to be first, but we wanted to make the best video that we could, even if it took us longer. Because a lot of times we're not first. And same with like the G80, like when we bought this, people had already had them for 6 months or so, because we got the all-wheel drive one. So for me, I think it's important to be first, but I think it's more important to spend the effort and the time and really make sure that everything is done to the best of your ability, instead of just pushing out a product. Because I feel like a lot of the guys that are like first, it's like, yeah, it's like not fully baked out, and it's it could still use some tweaking and whatnot. Like we're working on a project with the G80 right now, and we've been through 10 revisions or so. So a lot of the stuff we're doing, we're just refining it and refining it and refining it, and just making sure that it is absolutely what we want it to be. It's thoroughly tested and vetted out before we actually push it to market. So this is our 2022 Isle of Man green. As you can see, we have it stealth wrapped.
So I would say social media has been a big part of what we're doing, and you know what this has all turned into, because I remember when we first started making videos, I didn't think anybody was going to watch them. I just remember watching Justin's videos and it was like, oh my gosh, this guy has so many subscribers. And the production value, especially in the beginning, it was terrible. I didn't think anybody was gonna watch it, and I was actually like super embarrassed every time I made a video, and I kind of hoped that like people that I knew didn't watch the video. I only really wanted strangers to watch the video because they didn't know me or anything like that. But as far as marketing is concerned, we realized that YouTube was really all we needed, because for us video is very important, because with video, you know, you can portray a message, you can tell a story, there's just so much that you can do. And with YouTube, it just keeps playing and playing and playing. So we have people that comment on videos from like 6 years ago, and it's still helpful, which is really cool. We never really got into like Google ads or anything like that, because I feel like Google is like, hey, give us all this money to advertise for you. And I just felt like with Google ads, you can't really give that much value. It's more about like, hey, you should buy this from here, you should do this from here. It's not teaching you a new skill. It's not being as helpful, and then every 30 days Google wants more money. So I just didn't see that as a good model. So we pretty much just stick to our own YouTube channel, and then we work with guys like Justin, which is very helpful to us as well, to help, you know, just promote different products and different brands, and you know, some of the different things that we're up to, which is, you know, we're very appreciative of, you know, guys like Justin and others that have helped us, you know, really get to where we're at today, because it's definitely not something that we could have done by ourselves. So there's constant struggles. Right now, as I've said a couple of times, that we have 12 employees. So at the end of the day, my responsibility is to make sure that 12 families have a paycheck, and to make sure that I am doing everything to position the company in the right spot so that everybody else doesn't have to worry about the overarching like daunting tasks and whatnot that we have to get done, and make sure that I take the correct risks and make the right decisions. So it becomes much more than just me and what I want to do. There's a whole lot that goes into it, because I want these guys, like I want Zach to just think about video and how can we make the next best video. I don't want him thinking about like, oh, I hope I have a paycheck next week. So some of the things that differentiate us is we try to do our own development, and we have a lot of products made, and we have them held to higher quality standards, and we'll actually get products. So even like carbon fiber parts, like trunk lips and whatnot, we actually, every single piece that we get, we have it made in batch orders, and then we'll actually physically go through, and we have a team that physically inspects every inch of every product that we sell, and then we package everything up. We make sure that everything is nice, it's presentable, it's well packaged, and it's going to fit well and look good on the car. We do things like we buy trunks of cars, we have random bumpers, there's literally a bumper right next to the camera, and we try to make sure that everything is test fit, everything is valid, everything is at a fair price, and everything is just the best that we can make it. We're also doing a lot with 3D scanning, 3D printing, and then also development. So we've also identified some areas in the market where it's like, oh, I really wish there was a product that did this or looked like this, where we're taking it upon ourselves and we're actually getting into the development scene, and we're actually developing everything from the ground up, because then you have control over all of the logistics and all of the supply chain and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that we're starting to get more involved in, and we've been heavily investing in that to try to position ourselves to be able to be there. We just developed a strut brace for the G80 M3 that's anodized aluminum and also carbon fiber. Everything was designed in-house by us, down to the nuts that we use on the aluminum rod ends, just because we wanted to make sure that everything was very specific. So with the Kies Auto Show, I remember, was it back 2018, I think it was. I just had this idea. I was starting to talk to Justin, I was starting to talk to Shoe Mile. Who else was in the beginning? There was Tommy L Garage, Elevated Media, and a couple other guys that were just like in the BMW scene. It was cool, like getting to know people online and whatnot. And I was thinking like, man, it'd be so cool if we could just like all get together. And it was around that time too
that Beamerfest East was out here, and then they had stopped doing their show. And I had a thought, and I was like, you know, with Beamerfest East, there's not really like a car show in New Jersey that is close. So I was like, you know what, why don't we just get all our YouTuber friends, and then we'll get, you know, a couple companies and whatnot, and we'll just have our own car show. And it's amazing to see what it's turned into, because the first time we had 84 cars, and then a couple of days ago we had over 600 cars and several thousand people. So it's amazing to see that we started a little Napa Auto Parts parking lot, and now we're on an old airstrip for the old Atlantic City Airport. So it's just incredible to see. And with everything we do, we want to be more than just cars. Like, I love these cars, they're so much fun. But at the end of the day, people matter to us much more than any car does. So if there's an opportunity for us to help, we want to help. One of our guys, it started with one of our guys had, his son has a disease called STXBP1, which is a seizure disorder. And you know, it's really, it's heartbreaking to see, like, when your friends have a kid that goes through that, and there's not much treatment available for it. So we were like, you know what? Look, let's have a car show and let's just benefit that. So then the next year, we were going through, and it's like, I feel like just these opportunities just present themselves. The year after that, the 2019 show, my wife's friend was going through stage 4 cancer that literally just came out of nowhere. She started with headaches, and then they basically told her, you have weeks to live. And we were able to help support that family. So the next year, we supported lymphedema. And then this past year, we did 2 different organizations. We did an organization for actually Zach's nephew, who has hyperinsulinism, which is basically a reverse diabetic. And then Chris Marzano, our operations manager, passed away in February. He was actually a diabetic as well. So we had the diabetic, and we had basically the reverse diabetic. So we wanted to support his family, and then this other organization as well. So it's like every year, you know, people ask us, they're like, how do you know what to do? And it's like, we don't even have to try. Like I feel like every year, to me, there's a very apparent cause for that year. And like I said, I mean, we like the show. We like having all the people come out, and it's just a lot of fun. So for us to be able to just use that and give back, because I feel like a lot of these, not to throw people under the bus, but a lot of organizations and whatnot, they'll do car shows and whatnot to profit. We pay into it, so it's not anything that we make $1 off of. It actually costs a lot of money to have it, but for us, it's worth it, because it's, you know, we get to get all of our friends and stuff involved, and like, let's get together and do something good, because this world, I feel like, is, you know, a little upside down sometimes. So if we can be a light out there, that's what we want to do.
This whole story is only 6 years in the making, and it's remarkable what they've been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time, and it's been a pleasure to have been a part of this story, and Brian and I have actually become close friends along the way. So I just want to thank everyone at Kies for the opportunities that they've given me, and I'm excited for what the future holds.